Grand Rising. As you look at the events that are going on, you can see how 99% of the world is so willing to believe a lie. Trump can come out here and say bold-faced lies about the state of the war, how the Strait of Hormuz is open, how Iran says they're going to keep it open forever, and they're winning the war. Iran's military is decimated. Um, they don't have a navy, they don't have an air force, and they can't really do anything. And we've already destroyed all their weapons. But you can easily see that that is not true. But then you see the stock market and how it reacts, and that way it went up like 900 points on Friday. Oil dropped, to the $80 a barrel range, and people can easily see that the Strait of Hormuz is not open. There has not been a bunch of ships, traversing the seas over there. You're not seeing a bunch of cargo ships moving, and all of a sudden today, you heard about how the United States pretty much attacked one of the ships, cargo ships from Iran, and these people don't want to believe that their reign is over. Now that goes also with the scriptures. When we talk about how we are the people of the book is ours. They'll quick to believe someone with no proof who says the total opposite. And we've done this for years, where we bring proof and we bring scripture. We hook it up with history, and the people are like, no, I don't. So that's what we've been dealing with. And they set up these camps so that you would just chase your tail, always trying to prove things to a people that are willing to believe a lie, no matter what. No matter how much proof you give them, no matter how much history proves who we are, they're still going to believe that Ish are the people, and they're still going to believe that the so-called Middle East is the place of prophecy. Even though the Most High put an X over America between 2017, 2024, and pretty much, X marks the spot, shows you where prophecy is taking place. And they just quickly believe whatever they want to believe, because the truth, is terrifying to them. Now, I'm going to show you something from an astrologer, because we understand that as above, so below. But that deals with us. The things that are happening with astrology, with the stars, is dealing with the seed of Seth. It is not dealing with the seed of Cain. So when you have 99% of the world, pretty much have it as an allegiance with Cain, you can easily see how they don't want to believe anything about what the stars are saying, or they want to pretty much act as if somehow the stars are working for them, and how they can, get ahead in this matrix, which that time is over with. I'm going to show you some information. I'll play this video from this guy talking about Trump and, what he was born under and what it's connected to, because it's connected to exactly what is happening right now with the Strait of Hormuz. Trump was born for this time right now. But the thing was that, his first, if he was born for this, then how come he didn't do what he's doing with Iran in his first term? It goes back to, again, you guys were in your blessing. So therefore, what he was really born for wasn't for his first term. It was for the second term, because now that his second term is here, now, it's all about the destruction of Psalms 83. And it is connected to the Strait of Hormuz, and it goes back again to 1492. See, before, your guys' ability to come over here to the fourth part was closed. It was closed. And in 1492, that lane became open, okay? And in 2026, 540 years later, the Strait of Hormuz was open. You guys were able to, it was part of your blessing. You were able to, move all the oil, the goods. You were able to traverse the seas and everything else. It was open for you. In 2026, it has been closed, just like now the waterways. That's just a representation of 1492, when it was closed and it was open for you to come back and forth, steal resources from the fourth part. You guys, now your whole Strait of Hormuz was open 2025 and first part of 2026, and now it is closed and never to be opened again. So let me show you this quick video on Trump and, his sign and what he was born to do. All right, here we go.
that if you are not a believer in astrology, yeah, you might be after this video. And if you are a believer in astrology, you're going to be like, oh yeah, not surprised. So I'm an astrologer and I have a lot of charts on file. And one of the charts I have is Donald Trump. You know, he's in the news a lot. So Donald Trump was famously born during an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, sun in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius. And that's pretty powerful. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of eclipses either because they're potent. So when you have an astrology chart, you would see the sun and the moon opposite each other. So this is Trump's chart. And if you could see the sun here at 22 degrees of the zodiac sign Gemini opposing the moon at 21 degrees Sagittarius. How do we know that if there was an eclipse? Because this is the North Node, the mathematical calculation of where eclipses take place. So we know that Donald Trump was born on an eclipse. And you can look it up, June 14th, 1946, at 10:54 a.m. So in that chart, you saw where the sun, moon, and planets were in the sky relative to where the person who was born was located. In astrology, there's another practice called astrocartography, where the chart is expressed geographically. So the other day, I stumbled upon the geography of Trump's birth. This is the part where you're going to get freaked out. This is the sun line. This is the moon line, and there's that north node indicator of eclipses. And they go right on the Strait of Hormuz. Right on the Strait of Hormuz. There's no equivocation here. In classical traditional astrology, mainstream astrology, a lunar eclipse is an absolute climax. A person born during a lunar eclipse is a person whose life has this sense of absolute purpose, absolute destiny. And it's when I say absolute, I mean flip a coin, heads or tails, black or white, live or die. In astrocartography, when the sun, moon, and the north node, again, the indicator of the eclipse, wherever those are, that's a place of destiny. Now, it's easy to say this in hindsight, but I'm taping this in April 17th, 2026. We don't know the resolution of Trump's activities in the Strait of Hormuz. It's still up in the air. Could it go either way? Could Trump's intransigence in the Strait of Hormuz cause a worldwide recession, bring in a Democrat Congress, and lead to his impeachment? This could be...
And that's the thing, of course, it's a time of destiny. He was born for this time right now. He was born, to have this situation going on with the Strait of Hormuz, which is destroying the entire world. And then every day he comes out, I'm sure again tomorrow he's going to come out with some, pie in the sky comments trying to, manipulate the stock market. But the thing is that the people who are, pretty much allowing him to do this want to be manipulated. They don't want to believe that they're going to have to pay for the 400 plus years of our captivity. They don't want to believe that the Bible is real. They don't want to believe in that Jeremiah 30:16. They don't want to believe that we are the people. They are all quick to believe that we are Ham and that we all came from Africa. See, that shows you exactly, and no matter how many times we show them and prove it wrong, they don't want to hear it. So that proves again that these people, don't have a spirit of truth. They want to believe a lie. And, how many times have we proven who we are? How many times have we proven with Scripture? How many times have we gone to Revelation 6 and 8 talking about the fourth part, which correlates exactly with what Columbus did? But see, they want to believe again that Columbus didn't know anything about these lands and he just happened to stumble on these lands, right? And no matter how much proof you give them that they already knew about these lands, they already they knew about all these different places. They knew about the fourth part. They just weren't allowed to come here. So it shows you again how much everyone wants to believe a lie. And the opportunity to do that is quickly coming to an end. Your ability to believe, a lie and ignore the truth is quickly coming to an end. So again, Trump was made, he was born for this time. And again, he was already president before, and all the stuff he's doing now, he didn't do the first time. And you have to ask yourself why. It's because you guys are still in your blessing. You were still in your 540 years. It was the last part of your blessing. All of a sudden now, in 2026, your 6,000 years is up, and now everything is falling apart. And now you understand why you have to have people that vomit up their wisdom, because they have to be willing to believe a lie. And it is evident every single day that these people only want to believe a lie. And truth, there's no truth in them at all. Much love, family. Shalom.